puppy.
Wow. Stephanie's a cat now.
What if you just never came into frame and talked out off frame? He doesn't like that. He doesn't like it. He did not like Stephanie doing that, but he is in her chair. Oh, no, he didn't want that either. Well, Stephanie's a human again. Oh my God. Wow. Did we trick you? We got you.
We're magicians too.
Yes.
Podcasting hasn't really worked out the way we thought, so we've decided to take on comedy and magic.
Yes.
We're the new Penn and Teller.
Yeah, perfect. Stephanie's been
Pencil
going
and don't tell her.
Pencil and don't tell her? Okay. I was going to say that you've been taking...
Grade A comedy. What?
I was going to say that you've been taking the comedy classes. I'm over here, pulling things out. Can you, put something in my hand? Ta-da! Woo! This is what we're going to do now. Comedy and magic.
Comedy and magic.
I mean, I feel like
that sounds like actually
every day.
A great podcast name.
Well, so when I was listening to Anna Faris's podcast, she has a list of men that you're not supposed to date, and magicians are on the list. I think that makes sense. That's
pretty apt.
Right? I think that makes sense. Yeah. All right.
Wait.
Oh,
opening.
We have to do the opening. I got so excited. It's Stephanie. She knows. She's in charge of this.
Welcome to Chit Chats, a totally unedited space where we break the cycle of what it means to be a woman together.
With magic.
Our jar is real filled.
It's so full. It's very exciting.
These cards.
Yeah.
Please ignore my janky nail polish, but this is life. This is real life, you guys. We found these cards that we went to Podfest of 2022.
Yep.
God, so much time has passed. So we're going to give it a shake. We have our little pieces of paper in there as well, but we're going to see, you're going to pick today.
All right.
So here we go. Drum roll. Shake, 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 shake. Drum roll.
I'm very
that did nothing. It kept them all in the same.
Yeah.
There, it was a very suggestive hand gesture. For anybody watching, that was censor.
All right. Ready?
Here we go.
Okay. I don't even know which way it is. Okay. I mean, can we just look at how cute the little card is? Can we focus on it?
Oh, that's a good one.
Woo! That's so weird. That's weird. Share/discuss your favorite podcast. I love this.
Okay.
This is totally great. And we're just going to plug other people's podcasts here. Amazing. Do you want to go first? I already know which podcast you're going to choose, and you know what podcast I'm going to choose.
Yeah, so The Anxious Truth.
What?
By Drew Lynn
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Stephanie's never mentioned
ever.
this
Never
podcast
once
before.
have I mentioned it.
No, never.
Cue a whole series of me mentioning
Stephanie just putting it in.
Yeah, The Anxious Truth is a podcast for people with panic disorder, agoraphobia, OCD, and anxiety disorders. And so it's a podcast to help you get through those disorders and be able to live a normal life and be recovered from them, because you can, surprisingly enough. And I think the reason I like it so much is because the gentleman that hosts it, he actually went through his own stint of agoraphobia and panic disorder, as well as OCD tendencies and major depressive disorder. And that podcast really, really helped me in my recovery. That was like the one that changed it for me. And I loved his platform. He had a whole group where you could talk to each other, and he still has it. The rules have changed a little. You can't post in it as much anymore. It's more of just the admins help.
But he knows who she is.
But he knows who I am, because he actually reaches out to all of his listeners, and he's really good about communicating and helping. And I mean, he's such a good host that I actually pay $5 a month on Instagram to join his subscriber feed. So it's 30 or 40 of us, and he'll host Zoom calls and lives and things that are, more particular and personal to his life. And he actually is going through school to be a psychologist, which is so cool. It makes me want to hightail and move to New York and be like, how do I become one of your clients? Because he's so good. But he's really sweet. He's super nice. He's like, I think what I like about it too is that he's such a matter of fact. Like, there's no like sugar coating it. He's as gentle as he can be, but he's real with you. He's like, this is not going to be easy. You are not going to like the way that this feels, but you're going to get better. So like, he knows how to deliver it in a way that you're not getting false advertising. He's like, I'm not trying to fix you. There's nothing wrong with you. You just, your synapses are firing off. And like, I just love his whole platform and all of his admins. So I cannot thank that particular podcast enough.
How often do you listen?
So I used to listen all the time.
Okay.
I was like, I binged it, and there's just like 200 some episodes, I think. Recently, that I think is a good sign for me that I am more recovered than not, because I don't really find it necessary to listen anymore. I'll pop in here and there if I find an episode I think is particularly like intriguing, but for the most part, I really actually don't listen much anymore.
But you're so taken with him that you are still part of that community.
I'm still very active in the community.
That's amazing.
So even though I don't listen to the podcast, I have the books, I still reach out. I actually made friends in the group, and so like I have a couple people I talk to. We found one of his guests actually was a guest on our podcast, Lily Saez. We'll put her
one of the most well-performing episodes that we have actually is Lily's episode.
I mean, she's a really spectacular human being. She's also gone through, she has her own social media presence that's really unique and interesting, especially on TikTok. It's cool how she uses the trends to her advantage. So yeah, we'll link that above if you want to check that out. But that's mine. I know what yours is.
I know. Yeah. It's funny because we both know.
I know.
Because we talk about them a lot.
You were listening to it when I walked in.
I literally was. So Armchair Expert is the podcast that I love so much with Dak Shepard and Monica Padman. I probably discovered it during the early months of the pandemic when because before then I really hadn't listened to many podcasts.
Yes.
I'm more a music listener when I'm listening to things. So I found it because I had started listening to Anna Faris's podcast, which is great, but I definitely more connect to Dax and his interviewing style. The man is so intelligent, so kind, has been through so much himself, is not afraid or ashamed to be emotional, to take and talk about truth.
And therapy, that's
therapy
a
is a big thing.
Him and Kristen Bell are super
vocal
about mental health and
very
mental health
so.
advocacy.
English is hard.
Yeah. Avocado acai.
There we go. But
hungry.
Apparently. But yeah, so I just really admire and appreciate. He focuses on interviewing celebrities, which I think is always interesting. Typically celebrities who are actors and actresses. And of course we, find that very intriguing because for some reason we hold them in such high esteem that they're like the other. They're not real humans to us.
Right.
But the way that he does and formulates his show is that really he gets down to the nitty gritty with them and really deep dives into so many parts of their life that they themselves aren't thinking that they're gonna kind of talk about. And I think as a celebrity, you're kind of asked these questions that are like already pre-planned and stuff like that, and you ask that same question 1,000 times and they answer it. This is so different, and I love it. I could listen. I listen to every episode on Monday, and then their new show, Armchaired Anonymous. I listen every Friday. It's so
fun.
Strong
armchairs me into listening to it.
Because some of the stories are
some of them are so good.
Funny.
I think we listened to like the poop one. And I was in actual tears.
This really one good. Is the home share stories. I haven't finished it yet, and it's cringy.
Yeah. So these are our favorite.
Yeah.
What type of podcast can't you stand?
I don't know if I've ever listened to something that I just am like, I can't do this. Oh, yeah?
Fully, yes.
But I can say the type of podcast that I probably wouldn't like is something that's very self-fulfilling.
So I think this is along the same vein. Those alpha male podcasts.
Well, and I just want to insert here that like I think it's very interesting that you and I both listen to male-hosted podcasts. Yes, Monica Padman is a big part of Armchair Expert.
Right.
Because, and this is just a fun fact that I think is unique and interesting, 70% of podcasts out there are hosted by men. Only 30% are hosted by women.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same vein with comedy, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, I grew up being told that comedy really wasn't for women. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I beg to differ. I think you got a lot of funny ladies. But these alpha male podcasts where they try to have these conversations.
What was the one that you showed me where they were interviewing like a bunch of girls and the one girl got upset or something?
And she like left because she was like, I'm not going to be disrespected. Yeah. And the guy's like, this is my show and bit. I think what's frustrating is like, it's an echo chamber, a lot of those. And you're literally just into the void and then it's bouncing back to your ears. And all these guys are like agreeing with each other. And none of it actually makes really any sense when you break it down.
Yeah.
And so those really get me upset. It's the same thing too with women like totally and completely bashing and being like, other side. I'm going to beep it. It's fine. I got really passionate just now.
That was so passionate.
So sorry.
Oh my God, I was not expecting that.
No, but that's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like podcasts where both sides are crapping on each other.
Uh-huh. Because where are you
going to get to? They both want the same outcome, I think.
Yeah.
But they're both crapping on one another.
Yeah.
What I've been really into lately is the couple podcasts where they talk about emotional intelligence in dating, men and women. Like couples that talk about their struggles and how they have they blend modern and traditional in their relationship and how to have that. And it's really healthy conversations. It's not like, it's the most recent one, I think it's called To Be Better podcast. And there's two very alternative husband and wife. And they're super great. They have these conversations. He has BPD. I don't think she's diagnosed with anything, but he kind of talks about how sometimes, he's like, if I don't ever make you feel safe, like that's my job as your partner and as your husband is to make you feel emotionally safe.
Yeah.
And so like those conversations I have found more interested in, but I also think that we tend to digest stuff that we relate to and where we are in our lives. Because I was very like all men, at one point in my life. And that's because I was figuring out what I needed. I was hurt. I was, no.
You had experienced that.
Yeah. It's like, now it's like, there is a section of individuals that I think we should take both of them from both categories and put them together and let them all date each other.
Interesting.
It's called Terrible Island, and it's just all of these terrible people.
You heard it here first.
All dating each other.
Yeah, we're gonna start Terrible Island. Well, I also, before we start wrapping things up, I just want to say, we've done our lovely series Cycle Swaps, so I just want to give a big shout out to all of the women that we did cycle swaps with. I apologize if I forget anybody. We have Alexi from Lexi's Lounge, Taylor and Chloe from CEO-ish Podcast. We had Hannah from She Burns. Who else did we have? Who else did we have? We have three more. I'm trying to remember. This is like, you're asking me to remember a
We're
lot.
going to put them.
But please look at Nicole from Anxious and Ambitious, Eliza or Eliza, I'm totally forgetting which is the right way to say it, so I apologize, from City Hour podcast. I'm missing one person.
Well, I already put them on the screen.
Yeah, okay, good. But
this person,
all-star. But please
check them
out. Support is so important with these things, especially for small female podcasts. We're only 30%, and I think we should probably try and bridge that gap so that it is even 50-50. So support is huge. You know, you can support us if you go to www.cyclechats.com. You can hit that little bell, the subscribe, the notifications.
We forgot to do that last time.
We did? Oh, well, I can't believe I'm remembering it.
So terrible.
And you can buy a t-shirt. We have a new t-shirt that's going to be dropping in May, which is so exciting. I'm really excited about this one. And there's the dog. And a new sticker that's going to be dropping in May. So we have some really cool things happening, and that's a great way to support us. We do need some new equipment for a new show that we're working on. So if you
think we're pretty,
so if you like us and you want to throw us some Dolores, that would be cool. So
we do have a donate button up on the website.
Yes, and
by the time this goes live, we will have a fully functioning donate
so you
button,
can donate as much as you want. My dad already was like, I want to donate $25 a month.
This whole company, I think, is just run by our family members.
It's just run by my dad. just
Papa Steve.
Just Steve Freeman is our CEO of Cycle Chats. Is my dad.
Cycle Dad.
Cycle Dad. He is. But yeah, so check us out. Thank you as always.
We hope you sync up with us next time.
17
minutes on the dot.
I try.